So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us again with yet another a day in the life of an entrepreneur. This is our second episode, and we have a very, very special guest with us. And her name is Shira Shamban. She's a security researcher and technical expert with a focus around cloud security. Currently, she's the co founder and CEO of Solvo, which is a cloud based organization. Shira started her professional career in cybersecurity as a military officer in the elite intelligence unit 8200 of the Israeli Defense Force. Wow, that's amazing. So she started her journey 13 years. So she actually spent 13 years in the unit. So she acquired hands-on experience in cybersecurity and intelligence operations while earning an engineering degree from Tel-Aviv University. She has multiple hats that she wears. So after her military experience, Shira turned into a security innovation into business. And after leading the cloud security research at Dome9 Security, today Shira is actually pursuing her dream of becoming an entrepreneur and recently founded Solvo. When people were thinking that how exactly we are going to be managing our current organization, she actually incepted an organization, a software company that automates and shift left cloud security. She strongly believes in empowering women and underrepresented communities in the world of technology and cybersecurity. She volunteers as a lecturer and a mentor in forums such as SheCodes, Cyber Ladies, Women in AppSec, and she has also done sessions for InfoSec Girls. She started her own mentoring program called Security Diva and is the co-chair of OWASP Israel. Welcome, Shira. So glad to have you as part of a day in the life of an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Vandana. It's great to be here, and I'm very honored to be here with you again. I'm not sure the entire community knows everything that you are doing for the sake of women and the security community in general by getting everyone access to excellent knowledge, excellent lectures, excellent webinars, and giving people the opportunity to be a better version of themselves. So I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to meet here again.
Thank you so much, Shira. It's such a pleasure that you agreed to be part of it, and uh, you actually wanted to share all your experiences, all the learnings that you have throughout the years. And I'm privileged that I could meet you in person in Israel when I was there for AppSec Israel. And now we have had so many chats after that, and it's always I would say, music to speak to you, listen to you.
The feeling is mutual, and I'm happy to share with the audience today a little bit about my path as an entrepreneur. So we can just get started. I think that
Sure.
one of the most important lessons that I learned in life is that you shouldn't wait for someone to let you know that you are ready to be an entrepreneur. You've learned enough, you are skilled enough, and now is the right time to be an entrepreneur. Because there isn't a school for that. There isn't a checklist that you can follow and then feel that you are ready. The person who will tell you that now is the time is yourself. And by the way, you will never feel ready. It just has to feel good enough. It's okay to get started. You learn many things along the way. No one taught me how to be a CEO. I just use my instincts, and I try to consult with many smart people who know better than me in different angles, different vectors. Like, I don't think I'm the best salesperson. I don't think I'm the best marketing person. So I just go and talk with the relevant people about the gaps that I have or some questions, how to try this, how to approach that. I take a whole bunch of advice. Sometimes the advices are contradicting. People tell me, don't do this, and they tell me, yes, you have to do that. So then at the end of the day, it is your responsibility as an entrepreneur to take these different advices and then figure out the right way for you. Nobody really knows the right way, and people who tell you, let me tell you how to get it done right. First of all, I don't listen to people with that kind of approach, because who says that you know better than everyone else? So I take their advice with a grain of salt. And at the end of the day, as a CEO, as a co-founder, it is your responsibility. Even if you made a decision and it's not the right decision, it's okay, no worries, as long as you have the integrity to tell yourself, listen, I made a decision, it wasn't the best decision, now I have to fix it. That's all right. But it is up to you to say that and to steer that boat somewhere else.
Yeah, totally. And when you are working towards that, like, how does exactly your day look like? And I know there are so many thoughts that always run in your mind. There are people who keeps telling you things. I know it happens to me a lot. There are things that people tell me, which are sometimes not there, which are sometimes there, which I always try and grab. So when you start your day, especially at Solvo, how exactly your day looks like what are the thoughts that run into your mind?
Great. So we are, at the end of the day, we're a software company. We do security, but this is software and it's very different. You can be an entrepreneur and open an ice cream store, and that's also great. And this is also an entrepreneurship, right? There is nothing wrong with that. But the concerns when when you sell ice cream or when you sell software are similar and different. At the end of the day, we care about the bottom line, the revenue, right? You can't give the ice cream away for free. And we also care about our customers and users. My top concern as a CEO is to make sure that we bring more users and more customers to use our products. Right? We talk to organizations that work in the public cloud, and they need to secure their environments and wish to do it automatically. So I have to figure out what is the right segment to approach. Like, should I approach like the $10 billion company or a tiny startup that just raised their seed round? How to approach them? What is the right messaging? There are a lot of questions that I have to ask myself, but the end game is bringing to the table more people who will try out our product, be happy with it, and then use it more and tell their friends about it, because this is the validation that our idea is good and that our execution is good, because they like the product and it's giving them value. So there are lots of metrics, lots of data that I have to collect and analyze, and at the same time give lots of demos, lots of pitches about the company and about the product, and attract people to try it out, create more content, like write blogs, attend webinars, give lectures in conferences, everything in my power to attract more people in. And it's a challenge because there are other companies who are doing cloud security like us in a different way from us, different approach. That doesn't matter. There is an ocean of cloud security vendors, and we have to stand out somehow. And that is my job. My job is to make sure we bring more customers in, and also to make sure that we have the finance to support the life of the company. So I also have to create the budget, because we have this amount of money. And I have to make sure that we have enough to pay salaries and to pay for our contractors and to pay our service providers and to buy people lunch or a holiday gift. So I have to manage this budget, and also to keep in mind that rainy days might come, right? We didn't predict COVID and it came along. So just like that, there might be another crisis coming out sometime soon that I can't even imagine, just like I couldn't imagine COVID. So I have to make sure that we have money to survive such a weird incident. It's very, it's a natural thing to to say to yourself, hey, I mean, cloud is here to stay, so people will always have to protect it. But who knows, right? So we have to make sure that we have enough money to keep the business alive and to grow it.
Right, totally agree. And I am sure there are a lot of people who are thinking where to start, when to start. How do you predict that you are an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur? Sometimes it's like a half an hour. Like a lot of people tell me that you should start your own venture, and I feel that I'm not ready yet. I have no clue whether I'll be able to survive or not. So if I have to ask this question, um, how exactly we should start? Where should we start? Are we born an entrepreneurs, or is there any coaching? Is there any mindset change that is needed?
Excellent question. So, as I said before, there isn't like a checklist that if you check everything, you're ready to be an entrepreneur. If you want to be an entrepreneur, now is the right time to do it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to quit your job right now. You can start by trying out a smaller project. You, for example, you are leading InfoSec Girls and you are a board member at OWASP. So you are already doing things that are considered as entrepreneurship. These are the things that if you wouldn't do them, nobody else is going to do them. And without you, InfoSec Girls couldn't have existed, right? And could have keep on growing. And along the way, you brought more volunteers in. So, and you bring more volunteers to OWASP and create more events and more conferences. So bringing along more people is being an entrepreneur because you increase your impact. And you have other people who are doing other things. If only you were working in any of these initiatives, it was, maximum Vandana times 24 hours a day. But once you bring another two people, this is, 24 hours, 3 times. So you've just increased your impact and the potential impact you can create on other people's life. So once you think it is time for you to start doing something, but you're not ready to quit your job yet, right? You don't have the financial stability to do it. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to do that just yet. You can start out by doing something else. For example, if you're into InfoSec, then you're already doing it, but other people who want to try out can start an OWASP chapter or can start by volunteering and climbing up the ladder and maybe becoming, a chapter leader or a board member and, be an entrepreneur within OWASP or within any other organization. It doesn't have to be in the world of security. For example, one thing I did in the past, I wanted to help some underprivileged children. They were only in elementary school, but they came from a very difficult background. And I knew that if I would mentor each and every one of them separately, I don't have enough time to do that. So I recruited volunteers. I brought along 12 volunteers. So, in 1 hour of pitching the volunteers, I could impact the life of 12 kids, not just one. So this is something people can try out in order to increase their impact, also contribute to a meaningful cause, be elderly, be underprivileged, whatever that is, you can help by doing something good to the world and practicing your entrepreneurship skills. During that time, I wanted to bring the mentor and mentees t-shirts and some gifts. So I did a little bit of fundraising, right? I went to people and pitched the project, and some of them didn't give me any donations, but some did. So this is also an opportunity for you to practice your pitch. How do you explain to someone in 5 minutes that they should listen to you for another 15 minutes? You need to grab their attention. And also, volunteering might be harder because they don't get a payback. Like, investors usually expect to get 5 times on their money, and getting people to give you money without getting anything in return except for the good feeling that they've helped you is much harder. So I think that doing a volunteering project also might be a good opportunity to practice entrepreneurship skills. Now, when you decide what is the professional domain in which you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to work bottom up. You have to become a persona in that domain. Like, you have to show that you have professional knowledge in this domain. Maybe if you didn't do so in the past, maybe have some professional experience with another company in this domain, just to make sure that the knowledge that you have is really valid, and it also gives you credibility in this domain. And once you feel like you have some credibility and you still have the passion to start something new and to face the challenges and the no's, you're going to hit a lot of no. So be prepared. And once you find it still burning within you, this is the right time to find the idea. Oh, you know what? Before the idea, to find your co-founder. Being an entrepreneur is a very lonely path, and having a co-founder is super important. I think it's more important than the idea or the domain. Just having someone who you trust and can complete you is very important. So once you found the right partner, the right co-founder, now is the time to figure out what is the solution that you're going to, what is the problem that you're going to solve. You don't need to figure out the solution yet, but you need a problem that you have passion for, that really hurts you, that you can talk about it from the bottom of your heart. And that really gives a conviction that you are very committed to solve that problem. Now, along the way, the problem might change because you figure out that there are other solutions, or the problem is not big enough to solve. And that's totally fine. This is a part of your journey. So don't be worried about it. When I started my way, I had an idea which I thought is like the best idea, the most important problem to solve in the cloud. But the next thing I did, I didn't write a single line of code. I created a mock-up of the imaginary product that I had in mind, and just went to people and pitched them the product as if it exists. It does this, it does that. When you click here, it shows you that. And just ask for feedback and ask them, if this product existed, would you use that? And I tried to grab as much feedback as I could. And the bottom line from the feedback was that maybe it's not the best idea and they should figure out something else. But I asked the people I talked to, after, I pitched them the product or the idea, I asked them, what are the 3 top concerns that they have in the world of cloud, regardless of what I just talked about. And I took their answers very seriously and tried to come up with a solution to more important problems. At the end of the day, even if there is a problem that I think is super important, there is the buyer. And it doesn't matter if I think that this problem is very, very important. If potential buyers are not going to pay for it, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we have to make profit at some point out of our software. When talking about software, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be profitable at day 1, not even at year 1, but you have to show that the market wishes to pay money for what you're doing. So bringing more users after I give a demo and I see people wanting to use the product is a good signal for me that what we came up with is interesting. But even before we had the product, we had to hear from our advisors or people who were kind enough to listen to us pitch them that this is interesting enough, that we have something interesting here. So don't skip that part of creating some mock-ups, creating a deck, showing it to people and getting feedback. Don't be scared that they will copy your idea. If this idea is good enough, someone already thought about it. And it's actually a great thing for you, because when you have other players in the market, it means that this is an interesting field to be at, and that other people are helping you to do market education. They will also educate the customers. that this is an interesting problem and they should pay money to solve it. So don't worry about that. I mean, it's not like you're giving the source code. You're talking about an interesting problem, and that's absolutely fine. I recommend you not to worry about that.
That's a really, really good approach. Now, if you have to give your mentees or your juniors three important advices or lessons, what would that be based on your experience? I know a lot of things you've mentioned, but like, what are the three advices or lessons that you would like to be given to your mentees or juniors?
Excellent. So the first thing I would recommend is having a side project or volunteering or whatever. You don't have to necessarily be the leaders of the project, but it definitely will help you to be an entrepreneur when you have a blog, a podcast, volunteering project, volunteering for another project, but getting some kind of responsibility. For example, if you want to have a conference for developers, so you run the call for paper, or you run, the relationship with the speakers. You have to have some kind of responsibility from end to end to see how it's like to work with different people, with many people, with people who don't respond to your email, with the service provider. Try it out. You have to try some kind of project. You absolutely need to have that kind of experience. Something that I mentioned before is that many people are going to give you many advice. Some is true, some is not. Some is coming from their personal experience and their personal pain and something that they've experienced and really is only relevant to their experience, right? So they had a pain working with, I don't know, AWS, so they recommend you not to work with AWS. But this is their experience. It doesn't mean that Azure is better or GCP is better. It's just, you have to drill down, if it's possible, to ask them, yeah, but why do you say that? Why do you think that? And listen to their advice and listen to other people's advice. But at the end of the day, you know what is right for you. And sometimes you need to mute noises and mute people who don't provide you a good advice. Because even if they think that using a certain cloud provider is not a good idea, sometimes it's in the way they speak. Like, you should absolutely not use that. I'm telling you, I've tried it. It's shit. Don't use it. This is not a good advice. Like, tell me that for an early stage startup, this provider is not good because like, listen to the way they give you the advice. And if you think that it's not contributing to your decision-making process, just ignore it. I've had people telling me that being an entrepreneur is awesome, but maybe I should join another startup, work for them, learn some more, and only that start my own thing. And I think that this kind of advice comes from their in confidence. So they projected it on me. So you don't have to listen to every advice you get. You can smile and say, yeah, thanks, I'll think about it, and then throw it away. So don't think about it. And the last thing is that if you want to be an entrepreneur in any kind of domain, doesn't matter if it's the ice cream or cybersecurity or anything else, you have to be an expert in something that is related to that domain. Now, an expert doesn't mean you need a PhD in that domain, but it means you need to have some experience, some professional experience. You need to do something in that domain. So even if we're talking about a volunteering project, this is like you gaining experience. So that, if you want to raise money at some point, you have to show your investors that you know what you're talking about. Because later you will also have to show your potential customers that you know what you're talking about. They need to have confidence in you and in what you're doing. And I've heard a wise say in the past, practice makes confidence. If you practice something, you will have more confidence in it. It doesn't mean you need 20 years of experience in something. but it means you have to try it out. You have to fail maybe once or twice to learn what is not working and what is working, to be a person of knowledge in that domain. So you need to roll up the sleeves and put your hands inside. We raised our seed round during, the heart of the pandemic, when people didn't know if it's the end of the world or not. So it really means that if you believe in what you're doing, keep on doing it. Yes, even during the pandemic or during, any other crisis, if you believe in what you're doing, keep on, rowing against the stream. You're going to swallow some salty water. That's all right. Don't worry. It's a part of the game. And if you believe in what you're doing, you have to keep on looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a great advice and lesson for all of us, especially for me. And I'm looking forward to many more such wonderful conversations with you. And I would say, till then, we're going to see you in the next webinar. Yeah, thank you
Excellent.
so much, Aida, for joining.
My pleasure, and good luck for everyone.